Hello YouTube, just a quick update on my F.E.A.R box. I've managed to get that battery I was talking about, the eco-worthy F.E.A.R 20 amp hour 12 volt battery, and it is far lighter and far better than that lead acid battery. I found them to be virtually exactly the same size. To change it, I just had to remove this lower block here and slide the old one out, hook up the new one and put it back. When I did that, I did make a few changes. I decided I was going to run all the power that this box uses directly off the charge controller's load port. I only decided that because the Xiegu G90 radio uses less than 6 amps at full duty cycle on full power, and that's a 20 amp hour charge controller. So normally the charge controller can't bring your amperage up high enough fast enough to work well with your radio when your radio's drawing 50-60 amps, and that would be too much for this charge controller, so I would have to go directly off the battery for a more powerful radio. But with the small power consumption of these Xiegus being closer to a Citizen's band than anything else, I decided to go for it, and I haven't had any troubles. So the downside is I can no longer independently turn the fans on and off. Unless I'm going to physically unplug them. Maybe I'll install a switch a little later on. Speaking of installs, in addition to the battery, I pulled the trigger on one of these units here. This is from F.E.A.R. It's the Wi-Fi box. This is the one I have on my basement system. I just brought it up for the video. The one in this box is actually tucked in behind the charge controller and radio, but that allows me to operate the charge controller with Wi-Fi. I can program it. I can look at exactly how much power and wattage my solar panel is producing and how much I'm using, and it lets me monitor the battery a lot closer. While buying this radio, I also made another purchase, this cable here, which is plugged into the solar input, and it works with these 4 solar cables, which are currently not plugged in. But I bought a folding 120 watt eco-worthy solar panel, and playing around with this during the few brief sunny days we've had in between rainstorms, I've managed to observe it give me 105 watts worth of output into the charge controller. So it actually performs far better than I thought. I've seen other reviews where the reviewer had said that it only puts out 63 watts and not 100 or 120. Maybe he didn't have full sunlight or it wasn't angled right, but I got over 100 watts out of that just the other day. When I replaced this old battery with the new one, I was able to take 8 pounds of weight out of this box, which makes a huge difference at my age. Other than that, I haven't done any extra updates, and I'm still waiting for nicer weather. It just stopped raining a moment ago, but I'm waiting for nicer weather to do a more in-depth video on the radio bag I'm putting together for this, which is, well, it's an antenna bag, not a radio bag, using Wolf River coils, the Chameleon MPass 2.0 antenna system, and a few other things I've just sort of tucked in the bag, but we'll go through that in another video. The only other thing I wanted to bring up is I recently made some ground radials to work with that Wolf River coil. I want to do a video on it, but the manufacturer of the Wolf River coil had suggested it requires 3 ground radials minimum to be effective. I've had it work out on 1 radial, but of course that's not enough to give it a fair shake, so I didn't want to do a review. Now I've got 12 ground radials at 33.3 feet. I'll show in another video. But while I was making those, I wanted to be able to tin the wires and put them together. So I just took this terminal connector and filled it with solder, placed it in my small vise, and heated it with a torch and dipped the wire in. It worked very well. It tinned the wires very evenly for me, and I'm not the strongest guy for soldering. But this is one of the many ideas that I've stolen off of YouTube, and it works really good. I can't remember who I stole it from, but it's my idea now. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Please feel free to comment or thumbs up if you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.